Recording in progress.
Recording in progress. Where is it recording? Oh no.
Are we here?
What time is it? Yes, it's 10
10
o'clock.
We're already winning. Just
okay.
We think someday that it's going to happen, that we're going to start a webinar without being like, did we do it?
Did we get it?
Is it happening?
Hi.
Oh, here comes. Is Dr. Bruce on his way here? This will be the most seamless we've ever done this if he actually successfully joins.
Let's be hopeful, but okay. I don't know if I'm that hopeful about this.
Let me just make sure too that no one's texted and said we can't see or hear you.
Because this is our problem. Okay, more. Where's more? Now, are we on something fancier now? 267 of you are here. Hi, we're so happy to see you.
Well, I had to increase the capacity.
Q&A. Here we go. There it is.
Q&A.
Oh, Arlene, our favorite. Okay, you can hear and see us. Great. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome.
And we can see and hear you. Okay, everyone, thank you.
Thank you.
The only one that we can't see and hear yet is Dr. Bruce. And so does he just appear? Do you remember what happens?
Hello, and welcome to our Zoom where we don't know what we're doing.
We never know what we're doing. I think we
need to hire somebody full-time to fix our chat problems.
We won't have to let him in or anything, right?
Well, I don't know. Dr. Bruce, if you're here, then speak to us. I feel like we're having a seance right now. Spirit, if you're here.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well,
ring the bell. Sorry.
Okay.
Last time our guest did just appear. Thank you, Arlene.
Okay.
She did. Remember, because it was the person who did the voice. Lisa.
Yeah. The person who did the voice. The narrator of
your whole book.
Okay. All right. We're here. So we can go ahead and get started and wait for him to get here.
Okay.
And if he doesn't show up soon, then I'm going to have to text him and see what he's doing.
Yes. Okay.
So how about we do that? How about if you just start with.
That sounds so good.
Okay. Let me just say that there are 630 people registered.
Get down on our bad selves.
Which I just can't even believe it. So I hope we do a good job.
We're gonna be amazing. What are you talking about?
Okay. All right. You enjoy your coffee there. But give us our spiel about the Q&A and the comments or whatever this thing is that you say about all of that.
Okay.
While I drink my water.
Do you want me to wait? Because we have only 300 here. Should I wait until let people know more? Okay.
I think we should go.
So this is the way this works. If you've not been to our faux podcast here before, our Zoom, I do not answer questions in the, I think it's the web chat. If you do want to ask questions in the Q&A, that's something that I'm going to be looking at and moderating. The first part of our time, we have like a set of questions that have already been asked online, that things that you want to answer, aspects of the chapters of Puppy Brain that we're going over. And in this case, we have Dr. Bruce Christensen that's going to be talking. But so if I'm not answering, or if I don't say anything yet, it's not because I'm not seeing it. I'm trying to watch it carefully to see if there's something that we can answer immediately, or if there's something that we can answer at the end, or if it's just a topic that we're going to have to get to another day. But I'm looking at it. So ask your questions or make your comments in the Q&A section.
And you're so good at it. Like you just seamlessly sit over here and scroll.
If I'm like this.
Yeah. You're looking at the Q&A.
I'm looking at the Q&A. That's why I'm leaning forward. Okay.
I just, now I'm having, and let me just verify. Look, we're very informal here.
And not very tech savvy, if you didn't know that.
I'm just going to verify. We always are like,
have we gotten this right?
That he got this.
Let's see here.
Okay. 10 a.m. I said this to him yesterday. Okay, just want to make sure.
Why is that making a noise? That is not my favorite thing. There we go. Okay.
I'm just texting him real quick. And then I'm going to start to just tell what happened with this stuck puppy.
Oh my gosh, there's someone joining from Australia at 3 a.m.
Okay,
you are,
seriously?
I think you might be the winner.
Anna,
for getting up at 3 a.m.
You get the crown. You are the winner of the morning.
I feel like you might be the winner. There might be other winners, a grand prize winner.
Okay. All right. I just texted him. He should be appearing shortly.
In our seance. Okay.
I think, I invited him on because there are a lot of questions that have come in about what happens during a delivery. And I thought it would be really cool if he could explain from his perspective, not his perspective, but, explain like physiologically what's actually happening. Like there's what I'm seeing and then there's physiologically what's happening.
Right.
So I think before I start even like talking about the puppy and the delivery and everything that happened, I'm going to answer a couple of the questions that you guys had about Dolly, just as background information, because he won't need that when he comes on. But one of them was, is this Dolly's first litter? Which it is. She is what's called a maiden. Oh, we're going to have to remind him when he comes on. We have to be careful with our language. Like there are words, because I want to use clips on Instagram, and Instagram sometimes has blocked my videos when I've tried to post them if we use the biatch word.
Yes.
So, we have to be very careful of those Instagram bots that we don't get screened.
You don't get to be, we don't want to be.
So we'll have to remind him of that. But it was Dolly's first litter. It was a tremendous pregnancy. I feel like her pregnancy was about as textbook as it could get. A lot of times a mom and her first litter, she doesn't know what all of these, first off, the hormonal cycle that she goes through, but then what she's experiencing in her body, what she's feeling is all new. And they'll often be pretty picky eaters. Eating is tricky. Isla went on a walking strike. Isla did not want to walk. And so
Isla is stubborn.
Yes. No, one time I was around the corner. I'm half a mile from home. And she's like, and here we shall stop. And I'm like, well, no. We've got to get home. I called Brian. I'm like, you have to come get me. I cannot. I mean, like, I'm not going to drag her. Like and I was like, ready?
No,
okay, let's go, girl. Okay, I'll sit down with you and pet you. Like and the neighbors must have been like, what is she doing out front with that dog? Dolly didn't do any of that. Dolly, she occasionally stopped, but she was really like a great.
This was easy.
Yes, the
easy
pregnancy
peasy.
was great. And then even like going into her delivery, I don't know, this was her first delivery, so we don't know, does she typically eat when she's up at the end, or is she going to go on a food strike 1 day in advance, 3 days in advance? We just didn't know, but she was eating really well all the way up until the delivery. So I was feeling, as far as like all of those markers heading in, I was feeling super optimistic about how the delivery was going to go. And yet it's a delivery. So you don't know.
You never know.
Yeah. And so I want to, sir, well, we're going to, Max always says to me, we persevere.
We persist.
So we're just going
We
to
persist.
go forward. And then when he jumps on, he can jump in where he can.
Yes.
There are, okay, if you don't know, Allie's a doula. So in human delivery, are there like 3 stages of delivery?
No, there's more.
Oh, there are.
So.
Okay. Well, in dogs, there are 3.
All right.
So there's that, and I don't remember what they're called. We'll just call them stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Stage 1 is before, like, we'll see behavioral changes, but and she's changing on the inside. She's actually experiencing uterine contractions that I can't see abdominally, right? So, and I can see things behaviorally that tell me, oh, like we've turned the corner. So that's always what I'll say to Brian. I think we've turned the corner, which is she's maybe sitting in her box and staring, or she's glancing at her abdomen a lot, right?
What's that feeling?
Like I'm feeling something. No matter what I bring to her, she will not eat it. Like Poppins loves peanut butter more than anything on the planet. And I was like, if we get to the point where I come to Poppins with a spoon of peanut butter and she turns her head away, we're close.
Right.
And actually Poppins licked peanut butter all the way up. So that wasn't dispositive, but
Lies.
So yeah, lies. She was lies. She was like, look, I'll never turn down peanut butter. And Dolly actually, she pretty much up until a few hours ahead of time, I did offer her peanut butter and she turned it down. We have this specialty little, like, it's very small quantities because we want to be careful about, they're probably going to vomit. It's probably going to give them diarrhea, but like, it's peanut butter and oats and like a drop of honey. And she was like, no, thank you. And I'm like, oh girl,
you're in it.
We're getting close. So that's stage 1. And then stage 2 is when I can actually see contractions. And I know then that we are waiting on puppies. And then stage 3 is actually, I can't remember how it's broken down, but stage 2 and 3 actually alternate in dogs because they're litter bearing species, right? And so with Dolly, once she began to have contractions, I called Brian in stage 1, and he had to cancel his lunch appointment and come home, because I was like,
You turned the corner.
We turned the corner. You should be home, because we don't know at that point. Are we 1 hour away? We just don't know. It could be any amount of time. Do I see Jane Valentine?
Yes, I'm texting to her.
Oh,
right now.
hi, Jane. Listen, side note, make like mental note, Jane Valentine. That girl's going to get a book deal. We know her through writing. And she's hilarious, but she's a great writer. Someday Jane is going to have a smash hit, and we'll be like, remember when we talked about Jane? Hey, that's right. We can even come back to this clip and go, we talked about Jane back before. Yeah. Hi, Jane.
Just wait. Okay, back on track with the third stage. So you know that it's
I
imminent.
called Brian and said, she's turned the corner. Come home. And so then at that point, we begin to shift too, like where we have everything kind of staged, but we start to lay it all out. And Dolly's delivery was a good reminder to me that I actually think on our next delivery, I'm going to have like a surgical table, like a big long table, because I have my rolling cart. You guys can actually see it in the background there. It's this big rolling cart. And it has like drawers with everything, like, we know the top drawer is the dental floss and the surgical lube. And, that's where all the umbilical cord, like everything's in drawers. But in this delivery, I wish everything had been laid out on a surface and we could have just grabbed
Had it quickly.
Yeah.
Next time. Now you know.
Yeah. And we haven't
Because things can go bad quick.
Well, and this was an anomaly. This was the first time what happened with this puppy. So I'm just going to check and make sure we're not, nope.
I'm going to ask you a question about that someone asked, I think is good. Do you think that it was an anatomy issue with Dolly, or was it just the way the puppy was positioned and the shape of the puppy? And
I definitely don't think it was an anatomy issue. Yeah. I'm gonna come back as to why I think that is. Because everything, and I will say, like, for a minute, well, I'll get there.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in.
So she begins to contract, and at that point, once they begin to contract, the clock begins to tick in my head. Like,
same with moms.
Okay, same with humans. So we should be seeing a puppy. I should be seeing progression. I should see the contractions getting stronger. Yep, saw that. And then I start to put my hand at that back end, like right under the tail. We say, like puppy in the chute. And I kept saying to Brian, I should feel a puppy in the chute by now. I should feel a puppy in the chute. And I began to sort of pay attention to the clock. And there's a few things that Dr. Bruce has said in webinars over the years. One is that if you see active straining for 15 minutes-ish with no puppy, you probably need to pack it up and go to the vet. And so I had that going in my head, and I alluded to that in the Substack I wrote, that I said to Brian, I think we need to start getting the car ready. Like, go turn it on, get the air conditioning going. I think we need to, like, be thinking about heading to the vet, because I'm like, do I feel a puppy in the chute? I couldn't quite tell, which was also weird. That I'm like, I've delivered
this a gazillion
times.
Hundreds
of puppies. I know what this feels like, and I was confused by what I was feeling.
Right.
So finally, I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and put on a glove, get out the surgical, the sterile lube. This is something else that Dr. Bruce says all the time: is keep it clean. Be gentle and use lots of lube, right? Like lube, like tons and tons of sterile lube. So, because you can probe with your finger, right? And see if what are you laughing at?
Nothing, just keep going.
I can't wait to talk afterwards. And you could tell me what was happening right there.
Just keep going.
Okay. And so I was like, I probed really gently with my finger just inside the birth canal. And I'm like, I can't tell what I feel. I was so confused.
Right.
And that
you should have never been confused, because you've done this, like you said, a gajillion times. And
that was that threw me. And so I was like, yeah, we're going to the ER. And so we did decide, okay, many times as you are getting up to go to the ER, the puppy comes,
because
or you're in the car.
She's moved enough.
Yes.
And then it's like the movement. Yeah. Because movement is
or the bumpy road, right? The bumpy road produces a puppy. So we had taken her outside just sort of as a last ditch effort. And we were walking, I was walking her in, and Brian said, I think I see something. I think I see something. And so, like, we're trotting back in, and this is the path. We're trotting back in, right, over to the whelping box. And we get to the whelping box and I move her tail and I'm like, oh, hello, puppy. Right? Like,
sir.
and
Yes.
I see like, okay, this is the best description. I was trying to think, how do I describe this? Think about like a paper plate.
Yeah.
And like if you drew a picture of a puppy on the paper plate, and then you cut it out and then you stuck it right on the back. It's like this one-dimensional, like, hello.
I'm telling you right now.
And so like the very first time I ever saw that, it freaked me out. But I've seen it enough times. I'm like, oh, okay.
Hello, sir.
We can help you. You just need a contraction and maybe you need a little help. Maybe you've got a shoulder stuck or something, right? Okay, fine. So I started to feel like super relieved about that. So I got my gloves back out, got my sterile lube back out, crouched down next to her. Meanwhile, she's has a major contraction, which should have produced the puppy. And so alarm bells are going off in my head, like, dang it. Ding, ding, ding. Puppy didn't just come as I'm getting my gloves back on. And I go to try and help that puppy, right? Like, and basically, if this is the birth canal and this is puppy and that's the face, first I'm just going to like kind of probe with my finger here and just see like, do I feel a little shoulder here? Do I feel a little shoulder here? I could not get my finger. There was no room. There was no
entry point.
No. And so I was like, oh.
And this is Dolly's first litter.
Yes.
This is, I mean, we're talking about.
Whew. Yes. And it's puppy number 1.
Ooh.
And so I just kind of probed all the way around that little face and underneath the, like kind of where the chin was. Mm-hmm. So this is Dolly's spine and puppy is coming out with head
presenting
first, right?
Like this way. Yep. Like and looking down at the ground.
Puppy's spine looks like, because I'm also going through in my head, I'm like clocking through what do I remember from webinars? Spine to spine is okay. Spine to spine is not the end of the world. What makes this unusual? What could make this unusual if the puppy were rotated, right? Mm-hmm. Nope, puppy's not rotated. Puppy's spine to spine. Where are the puppy's legs? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, so I'm feeling, and I literally can't get my finger in there at all, but I'm like, those front legs are just straight back. Like these big old shoulders are coming first. Legs are all the way back. Paws are pointing
instead of
it.
like this, which is much easier. Yes. It's this.
Yes.
So you've got linebacker,
not
dive.
And when she finally was born, she was 500 grams, which is a pretty good size.
She was a big linebacker.
Yeah, she was. She was just. And, this is the question that was asked earlier. Let me just make sure Dr. Bruce hasn't replied. Well, I don't know what happened here, but, okay. He's going to turn up for
He will when he can.
Or tomorrow.
Or tomorrow.
I did wonder, is it possible that she has, at some point along this process, I thought, does she have a stricture?
Which is?
It's like a band of tissue. That then puppy would be trying to come outside on like the side of the band, and you're going for a C-section. I mean, like we're not getting around a band, but I could see the whole face, and so I'm like, well, the whole puppy's here, and I kept trying really hard, and I texted. I mean, this is the second time ever that I have texted Dr. Bruce, who, by the way, if you're in California, I just want to make a plug for this. He offers concierge services for whelping, which makes him available 24/7 for a moment like this where you're like, what do I do?
Yeah.
So I took a video and I sent it to him and I said, I'm kind of at a loss as to what to do here. And he immediately replied back, do you have it's like a tube feeding tube. It's like a French tube, right? And he's like, and then he gave me instructions on how to use that and how to insert the lube and everything. And this is where I'm like, next time we're going to have a table laid out, because as many deliveries as I've done, I mean, literally hundreds of puppies, I got a little bit like off my game.
Discombobulated.
And I couldn't remember where I had put the tube.
Yeah.
And I knew I had it because I just ordered new ones because they can crack in the heat and stuff. I wanted to make sure we had them. And so I was like, Brian, you gotta, like, I think it's in that bin. And is it, and I'm like, okay, I've got to stay calm.
Right.
Like above all,
your prefrontal cortex was starting to go offline.
But Dolly was a marvel. I could not believe the presence of mind, because I have seen first-time moms feel a little panicked when the puppy's stuck there like that. And they might cry or they're spinning in circles or whatever. And I'm like, girl, I'm just going to have, like, I just was talking to her. I talked to her. Brian had to set the phone down and videoed. It's like 8 minutes. And I think I talked to her for the whole 8 minutes, and she just was unbelievably calm about it. And so I was like, could you try and lick? Could you, like, and then we'd try and stand her up and see if we could get like gravity, like you get a contraction. We were doing all these things. But meanwhile, I just kept squeezing lube into that one little spot, you know, like under the chin. And then I just kept trying, like, if I could just get this shoulder, you know, and like and I think at some point I had to change my glove because clean, right? And then I couldn't get the glove back on. So you see in the video, I've got glove on one hand, washcloth in the other, because I wanted a dry washcloth to try and like help move whatever part of the puppy that I could.
Traction. And
finally she had a contraction that got just one shoulder out, and I was like, we're going to be fine. And meanwhile, by the way, some point around like minute 3 of that video, I was like, I think this puppy's not alive. I think this, you know, I'm talking to Brian, talking to her. I'm like, I don't think this puppy's going to make it. I don't think this puppy's alive. Like, I've suctioned. I'm not hearing anything. I can't tell anything because all I can see is literally one little dimension of the face. And I had turned to grab a dry washcloth, and I heard, and I'm like, oh, the puppy's alive. Like, I freaked out. I was so excited, and it just like energized everybody, all of us. And so we got her back up, because we thought if she has another contraction, it'll be good that part of this puppy's out. And sure enough, on that next contraction, it took 8 minutes to get that puppy from, you know, where we first saw that face sticking out, stuck out. And then my brain's going 2 things. One, you are probably going to have a second puppy right behind this puppy. Like, I mean, it's going to be seconds, maybe, right? And also, you're probably going to have a puppy that doesn't make it, because that took long enough, that whole process. And honestly, our ER is 30 minutes away. And, you know, that was part of our calculation as we were watching these contractions happen is, you know, do we keep trying what we can right here?
Yes.
And even when we, you know, the puppy was stuck, I began to feel like, as soon as he told me to use all that lube, and there was something that happened, and he sent a couple other texts, that I felt like, I think that I can help get this puppy unstuck. I feel like because I have this one little access point that gets lube in, and I can keep working like just on this little nano area and get that shoulder unstuck. And that's what happened.
Well, and I think that sometimes you just have to listen to your intuition, the knowing, right? Because like I loved from a billion years ago, that Malcolm Gladwell book, Blink, where he talks about intuition and how you can trust it and why you can trust it and all of the, you know, information behind that. And it's like, there's things that you're registering on a level that you don't even have like brain words for, but you're clocking so many things that you don't even know you are clocking. And so all of that experience plus your intuition, that's when you have to listen to that, because it's like in that book says, it's
that's
like,
actually, that's really a good point. And I think like when I took the video and sent it to Dr. Bruce, for like half a second, I felt like, I don't think I know what to do, which was like almost made me panic. Yeah. Because I always feel like I have, well, try this. Like I got something, right? I've watched 8 gazillion webinars by Dr. Bruce. I've attended every like, I feel like I have a lot in there. And I, for a second thought, well, I haven't faced this. I'm not sure what to do. Yeah. And, you know, and I knew Dolly, unless something really crazy happened, that Dolly was going to be okay, especially just based on the way she was acting. Yeah. She gave me, there was like this symbiosis happening where I was talking to her, she was staying calm, and it was helping me stay, you know what I mean? Like this, it was really a cool, looking back, it was a super cool experience with her. And that's Miss Pink, by the way, who is Big Bertha. Like Big Bertha. She's a chungus. Not messing around. I mean, and she has not stopped. She just keeps, I'm trying to remember what she weighed this morning. Something like 1,400 grams. Oh, she's a big girl. She's a big girl. She's a big girl. Yeah. So, okay, well, we can get into the questions in from there. And let me just say that second puppy did pop out. I think it was like a minute later that puppy number 2 came. And it was like, I see a text. Just want to make sure.
But it's not Dr. Bruce, the man, the myth, the legend.
Nope, the man, the myth. Well, whatever. Okay. He's missing out on the party. It was the biggest disaster. Usually our like whelping process and our whelping box, we're pretty neat. Like,
Yeah.
and we have everything down to a science. I mean, Brian is, what's this? He's a sous chef of whelping.
He is. He is.
And so, you know, it was a disaster. Like I had fluid, like, oh, because what happened is when she came out, all this fluid just
Came behind
out.
it.
Yes.
You're like, holy moly.
Yeah. And it was everywhere. And then it was all over. And then puppy number 2 came with all the fluid. And I'm like, I am a mess.
We're
Like,
swimming.
Yeah.
We're swimming in bodily fluid.
And then there were gloves everywhere because, you know, you change the gloves so much. It was
a disaster.
Yeah, it was a little, but it was
a
good.
little Swedish chef kind of. And if it was, we're going to chef references. It's just, you know, it's like heave, work. And it's kind of, okay. All right. Well, here's a question for you. Do you feel like how common, because you'd said sometimes the puppy that comes behind doesn't survive. Like how common is it for a puppy to not survive?
I mean, I would say we always enter every delivery expecting a puppy to not survive.
Yeah, that's just pretty common.
It's just, and the statistics are kind of, I've read multiple statistics. You know, you read some places that say like 5% of litters and some say 30%. And I think about the variety of ways that puppies come into this world, like shelter environment versus this environment, right?
Well, also the breed of dog, because you can't compare it just across. Like,
exactly.
You know, like you have completely
That's such
different.
a good point. Yes. So I would say, especially if it's a bigger litter, which I would not consider, you know, we had seen 8 puppies on the x-ray. I wouldn't consider that a big litter.
Yeah.
Big is 11, 10,
14.
11. Yeah, right. Those are big litters. So I felt optimistic we wouldn't lose a puppy. I felt like we had good reason to hope to not lose a puppy, but I also didn't expect, you know, we always expect it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. I like that. And somebody was asking about puppy number 2. Did they?
So let me tell what happened after that. So number 2 did survive, no problem. And by the way, nobody had, I mean, there was no evidence that anybody had any issues or was compromised or any way. No. Puppy number 3, fine, delivered normally. And, you know, I was worried pretty significantly that with that much contracting that she would, so that's called an obstructive dystocia.
Yeah.
Okay. I was worried about secondary uterine inertia, which is she had started to contract. So we didn't have primary uterine inertia. Secondary is when she just tuckers out.
Yeah.
And because she's
just tired because she's been pushing for so long.
She worked so hard on that first puppy. I thought, well, she's young. She's really fit. This is why fitness really matters. She's had great nutrition. She could make it. She could make it. And she did, just no problem. But you don't know, you're like, you know, you're thinking all these things, you know, as you're sitting there. So puppy 2 came, no problem. 3 came like 15 minutes later, no problem. 4 began to come 15 minutes later, and immediately I knew we had a problem. Immediately, I said to Brian, this puppy's not going to be alive. And and I've had that happen where a puppy has been alive when I've seen this. It's the sac begins to come out, and it was dark green. Like it's hard to describe the color of what that turns. And I've shown them on Instagram, these like, incredibly green puppies who are in a sac that is very green. But I just felt like between all of those factors,
you had a feeling.
Yeah. And it was a girl, and she was born, and she had no vital signs. And we go through all the protocols,
like working on her.
And that's Brian, right? Like,
good job, Brian.
Yeah, good job. Seriously. And so, you know, and we cry. You know, I mean, it's like the whelping box is full of all sorts of fluids, including our tears.
Yeah.
It's really hard. It's really hard to lose one, but it's also just part of the process, right?
Yeah, this is that.
Yeah.
This is raising dogs, or breeding any animal life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I have all sorts of leverage about how I handle that. And also you don't have the luxury of time. No,
you have to put that in a container. That's going in a Tupperware to deal with later.
We talk a lot about this emotional Tupperware, like, okay, well, I can't, let's just get a Tupperware. We got to put that in there right now. Can't deal with that right now. And so, and then the rest of the puppies came fine, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's a question here on this, and there's a question on there that's similar. You know how people are, would mourn and grieve. Do you see that in Dolly? Do you see mourning and grieving?
Yeah, I get asked this all the time.
Right, all the time.
I don't feel like I have ever seen a mom mourn. I feel like what I see is every puppy that's born, okay, in a mom that it's exhibiting normal mom behaviors. If it's puppy number one, they want to be in the mix with that puppy, right? Like they're licking and doing all the things. And then as each puppy comes, they're a little whiny about the newest delivered puppy, but they're also whiny about the other puppies.
Right.
And so when that one was born, that I immediately handed off to Brian and said, get to work on her. She was preoccupied by the other puppies.
Right.
And she was licking them and nurturing them and doing it. And she never even clocked that puppy went out of the whelping, Brian's adjacent to the whelping box with his back to her, working on that puppy, doing all the things that we hope we can do to help bring that puppy back. And so, no, I don't see mourning. I see whining if there's no other puppies in the box and you take a puppy that's just been born away from her. She needs something to focus all of those maternal instincts on. But as long as she has something, she's okay with
She's okay.
taking,
It's not.
She doesn't seem to have an awareness of a puppy was just born. Where's that puppy?
Yes. Okay. So here's a question too. And it's, since you were talking about Dolly, there's a question here and on here about, will Dolly, will she be, will she continue in the breeding program? And what makes you choose? What made you choose Dolly? What was it about her that you were like, oh, she's going to be a good mom? Yeah.
Well, she'll definitely continue. There was nothing, this was just a puppy that was just big enough and positioned just in a way that made delivery difficult.
Right.
There's nothing, no deficit in Dolly, no deficit in the puppy, nothing wrong. She doesn't have anything physically wrong with her. That's just the way the puppy came.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was just the position of those front legs. If it had been head first, everything else was fine. It was just those front legs the way they were.
If you had a diver instead of a linebacker, it probably wouldn't have been the same way.
Where do you come up with these things?
I don't know. It's a picture inside my brain. It's my brain.
And for half a second, I'm like, a diver instead.
Yeah. Yes. You need a diver.
We want divers, not linebackers.
Well, sometimes too, the way human babies are positioned, and I've been at a couple births where a baby had shoulder dystocia, and it gets scary real fast if anybody's in that world, or if you've had a baby with shoulder dystocia. Ooh, it gets scary.
Yeah, that scares me.
Oh, it's scary. You feel it later though. It's like you put it in a Tupperware in the moment, and then later, I've had that before, where I've been on the way home from a birth and I start shaking in the car. I'm like, oh, my Tupperware is coming unlidded. Anyways,
yes.
And that's something for you too. Someone has asked here and here, how do you take care of yourself? Because that is emotionally and physically so taxing. And
I would say every delivery I feel like is, you're the cycle of adrenaline rush, every, it is a physically, my Whoop, this is a wearable that detects stress, and my Whoop is like, what were you doing?
What are you doing?
Stop doing what you were doing. But after that first puppy, after the first two puppies, and we had a 10-minute break, and we got everything all set up, and I was like, oh, I am wiped in a way I don't remember being wiped. Yeah. And I feel like we've been through a lot of gnarly deliveries. That one really got me. And also physically, I feel like physically for 8 minutes, every muscle in my body was flexed.
Yes.
I'm glad I've been working out a lot.
Yes, strong work.
But thanks for that.
You're preparing for that.
I was preparing for that. Yes. I was doing my puppy delivery Ironman.
Yes.
But I was squatting basically. Yeah. You
were holding the squat. Dude, you must have been sore the next morning.
I was so sore the next morning.
Because you don't even feel it when you're in the middle of it. I know. I've been there too. I've been down on the ground.
You're in these awkward positions, and I was like, yes, and I'm talking come on, girl, you can and it's so intense that I did feel pretty tanked. And
Yeah.
then, you know, by the time we got to the end of the delivery, I said to Brian, we always take turns. And I was like, I have to be the first one to go. I have to be the first one to go take a shower and go to sleep because I can't stay awake anymore.
Right. You're like, I literally, my body is saying absolutely
I was
not.
done. So as far as like and he's great. Like the whole way through, you know, he'll walk up and he's like, drink.
Yeah,
right?
that's
like,
so good.
Through
that's
the whole
so
delivery, he's just right there, brings me, he has all my little snacks that he brings me. He'll like, you know, I'll be like covered in whatever and he'll be like, here, eat this, you know?
Right.
Because I like those little, I actually like exactly what the dog's like. It's peanut butter with oats
yes.
and a little bit of honey, and you roll it into these little balls.
These little balls, so he gives you one too.
So he gives me little energy bars.
you and Dolly are both having a little energy bite.
Here,
yeah, one for you, one for me. Oh, that's the best.
But you know, like I do that. I have my coffee machine extraordinaire, which I definitely had some of that during the delivery. We have classical music playing. Classical music for me it's
soothing.
You know me and the Bridgerton soundtrack.
Oh my gosh. Yes. One time you were gone and my oldest was over here just kind of holding the fort down for some reason. I can't remember like what. It was just dog sitting. And they're texting me, Mama, why am I listening to Billie Eilish on only, classical? Why am I listening to classical Billie Eilish right now? And Taylor Swift, and I'm like, I know that's Carrie's jam. Yeah. It's hilarious.
Because here's the thing. Pro tip, if you like that kind of music.
Pro tip.
I love modern music. It's like Vitamin String Quartet. You know, it's Bridgerton. I love modern music set to classical style. And if you can set up your Echo, whatever you call that thing, the Alexa, you can set it up to play continuously. So when it finishes, continuously. So when it finishes with the Bridgerton,
it heard you. Okay, no, just keep going.
It will just keep playing similar music. So then you're like, oh, what is this? And it's just the best.
Yes.
So that plays all the time in the background. That's very soothing for me.
Okay, I have a couple things.
Yes.
There's a lot of questions about this, and so maybe you can just in a concise way answer.
Okay.
With the green, like is it the meconium? I'm saying that wrong. Is it? Is that why that puppy died? Like, it's not like some people want to know. Do you know why that puppy died?
Oh yeah, I know why that puppy died.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I should have said that. First off, that kind of green is not meconium. MECONIUM, right?
I know, yeah.
Okay. Which is poop.
Yep.
This is the breakdown of, I wish Dr. Bruce were here.
Is it the placenta
it's
breakdown?
The placenta breakdown.
Yeah.
And that blood byproduct breakdown turns green.
Okay. And why do you think this puppy died?
Because they basically have, puppies can live on a low level of oxygen for an astonishing amount of time. I can't remember what it is.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's an astonishing amount. I kind of have an idea, but once, I always think of it like a scuba diver with their cord, right?
Yeah.
Once that gets disconnected from mom, right? And they're coming down the chute, they have a limited amount of time before they don't survive. Yeah. And so that puppy got stuck in the logjam from that first puppy. Yeah. So puppy number 2 and 3 didn't get stuck in the they were stuck in the logjam, but they had enough oxygen
to live. Yes.
Puppy 4 clearly needed to get out. Yep. And
depending on who even knows, there's a billion different reasons. There's a lot of things going on.
But yes, oxygen deprivation, right? And so no matter what we did, we just couldn't get that puppy back.
Yeah. That makes so much sense. Okay. Now for you, so you had said I got to go to sleep, but where are you sleeping? Because someone said, do you and Brian sleep after that? Do you stay up? Does Dolly stay there? What's going on? What happens right after?
So we're on 24-hour puppy watch, which just means we rotate, and Brian works, right? I work too, but he works too. Yeah. He works out of the house. He has to go to a job. And so typically, once the delivery is done, usually I'll just stay in the whelping box, or I'll stay directly next to it. I've slept in the whelping box many times, or in a chair right next to her, but I needed to go get horizontal. So I actually went Oh boy, time's going fast.
I know, just staying on track. Keep us on track.
I went and took a shower and got in bed.
Yeah.
And I slept for 3 hours. And Brian stayed right, with Dolly. And we sleep on the couch. And when we do that, I mean, usually after the first day and a half, I'll just sleep on the couch because I want Brian to have a fresh brain for work. And I can kind of get by on, I nap when the baby naps.
Yeah. Sleep when the baby sleeps. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm, thank you, Xander Nichols. I am the world's lightest sleeper that there ever was created. And I hear, first off, someone asked, do they make noise all night? They make noise 24/7, right? Like right now they're not making noise, but when that first several days, it's just constant noise, but there's all these normal noises, and there's variations in the window of normal, right? And my ear is tuned for abnormal, which is either mom, and Dolly did this a lot. Dolly really needed support in moving in the whelping box because she was like, I want to move and I'm afraid of moving a paw. And, because I don't want to hurt anybody. So she'd cry, but it was a different kind of crying.
Yeah.
I'm coming, girl. I'm coming. I got you. And I'd come and I would just help her move. Or the other thing that Dolly really cried a lot about is if a puppy.
She got away from her.
Oh, yes.
She's like,
I know. Allie and Christy and I are on Snapchat for old people, Marco Polo. If anybody's on.
Yeah. It's called Snapchat for old people.
And we send each other an obscene amount of these video chat.
It's the best.
It's the best. It's the best. So I'll be like, you guys, and I'm like pointing at the whelping box. Look how cute Dolly is. Look at her.
She just wants to get that baby right next to her.
All the babies. I want all the babies.
It's like a little mommy hen, that wants them all under their little wings. Have you ever seen a hen?
Was like, it is not acceptable that all puppies are not right here
on me
right now. And so she would cry if someone got too far away. He'd be like, I'm going in the corner.
Yeah.
This is what newborn puppies do. We go in the corner. She's like, not my puppies. My puppies stay right here. Yeah. And so the first couple of days,
stressful.
Dolly needed I moved the puppies a lot for her. She wanted them right there.
Next to her for her to be safe. Okay. So that brings up a point that's been asked quite a bit in the chat.
Yes.
Are you ready to talk about Mr. Navy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I have thought a lot about this, and I have prepared a lot for this. And if I cry, I cry.
We don't apologize for tears, right?
We don't apologize for tears.
We just let our feelings come out our eyeballs.
We just don't want a really ugly cry. It'd be nice to not do that. But also, I feel like I'll probably be a little detached in talking about it, just because, see, here goes the ring going on and off is a sign of.
It's always a sign.
Right.
I'm clocking it.
You're clocking it, yeah. So dang it, I didn't put Kleenex here. We'll see how this goes.
Well, I can always get something.
I have my chair, my outpost, directly next to the whelping box. You have seen many Marco Polos from the chair.
Many a polo.
Yes. And I was just sitting there and I heard a sound that I have not heard before, ever. And I leapt up and I went to the box, and the best that I can deduce, and I have posted videos that people are like, aren't you worried about the puppies getting stuck? Aren't you worried? And I'm like, no. I mean, they just haven't until they do. I feel like that movie, The Perfect Storm.
Yeah.
Where it takes everything being just wrong to have the perfect storm, and everything was just wrong in this situation. I knew he had been in the corner. They like to go in the corner and stick their noses in the corner of the whelping box underneath the pig rail. That is what they like to do. So I knew he had been there, and there were 2 other puppies that had climbed on top of him, and they were all, well, welcome.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry, I got called in but I'm done now. So
that's what Arlene guessed, that you were in an emergency. So that's okay.
Yeah, but it's all good. I'm glad I made it. So sorry.
We are too. Did you just deliver puppies?
Yeah, and everybody's fine.
Oh, that's so good.
Just a normal Sunday. Sunday morning. Okay, well, I'm really glad you hopped on here. I'm just going to introduce you real quick, because I think everybody knows who you are. I've only talked about you 8 gazillion times. But this is Dr. Bruce. with Kokopelli. I already told everybody that if they are in California, take advantage of the fact that you are available on a concierge basis for whelpings because it's miraculous and
Right.
really,
Yes.
really fantastic.
And
Oh, okay, thank you. Yes, I didn't want to forget to say this, and I already was going to forget. Okay. Oh, this is Allie, by the way.
Hi.
Bruce, Allie.
Hi, Allie.
Hi.
He reviewed the spay and neuter chapter, and oh man, I appreciated how like detailed you were in your feedback and stuff. Like, I just have the just tremendous admiration for you as a veterinarian and as a person.
Thank you.
So thank you for helping me with Dolly, because you missed me telling the backstory on that. But I was on the verge of feeling, what I had said is, I feel like I always know what to do in a whelp. Like I've whelped so many puppies that I'm always like, I could try this, I could try this, I could try this. And I got to a point where I'm like, I actually don't know what to do. I got kind of stuck. And you just, it was amazing. Like your feedback was so quick, and like you, and then it like unstuck me and I unstuck the puppy. But what I would love is, because I sent you the video, I'm sure you remember it. If you can explain, some of the questions have been, was there something physically wrong with Dolly that she couldn't get that puppy through? Why that particular position is problematic or hard for delivery? Was there anything else that I'm missing? We're going to ask you about the green puppy that came afterwards, but we'll ask you that separately.
Yeah.
On the delivery part.
No, I don't think so. I think it was just like what you're.
Yeah. And what's happening? And what's happening basically that this puppy, where puppies before have presented with that face first, and I've been able to like get a finger around in there and help them get unstuck with like lots of lube. Why on this one was it just so that this puppy wasn't making forward progress?
Right. So first of all, Dolly, was this her first litter?
Yes.
It was. And was this her first puppy?
Yes.
This was the first puppy was the stuck puppy.
Yes.
Okay. So it's certainly possible that I wouldn't say there was something wrong with Dolly, but that there was a mixture of both
We lost
causes.
you.
Oh, there we go.
Wait, say it again.
Oh, I think you got in your car and it moved over to.
Yeah. So I think that it's possible probably that there was both fetal and maternal causes to this. So when we talk about dystocia, which is difficult birth, we often break that down into fetal and maternal causes. So, for example, a maternal cause would be that there's something wrong with her uterus and she never starts pushing, or that she got hit by a car earlier in her life and her pelvis healed smaller. With pelvic fracture caused the birth canal to be smaller. So that would be a maternal reason for having difficulty giving birth. A fetal cause would be that the fetus is too big, or it's sideways, or it's twisted, or whatever. Those would be fetal causes. So in this case, I think it might have been a combination, because if she's a maiden and this was her first puppy, often the soft tissue hasn't dilated enough for the first puppy to come through. And that's relatively common. I mean, you probably have seen that in the past with your first time mothers, or maybe the first one is a little bit harder to push through. She still succeeds, and then the other ones come much more easily.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's pretty common for us to have clients report about that. So it might be that the first puppy coming through, her vaginal canal hadn't quite dilated enough. But then from what I could see in the video that you sent, it looked like it was just the nose, the muzzle of the fetus coming through. I didn't see any little feet coming through. So it looked like the front feet were flexed backwards, like it was diving head first instead of with the feet forward like a Superman flight.
Yes.
And the feet should be forward. That's the proper posture for a puppy to be born, or if it's coming tail first, then the feet should be pointed backwards. Either way, the feet should be pointing in the direction that the puppy's going. They shouldn't be flexed toward the puppy's body. So I think that in this case, it was a combination of those two things, that she probably wasn't fully dilated in her soft tissue, and the puppy's feet weren't in the right position. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay. And then, I mean, I just want to be cognizant. Okay, it's 10:50.
Oh yeah, oh shoot, we're gonna have to go pretty soon.
So I didn't tell you, I don't think, that, puppy number 2 came literally within a minute. Puppy 3 came about 10 minutes later. Puppy 4, what happened? And I would love for you to explain what happened. I'll tell you what I see from my layman's terms, and then you tell me what happened. Puppy 4, I see the sac basically coming out, and it is dark green. And then a couple contractions later, the whole thing comes out. It looks like a piece of sushi, right? The placenta is still around the entire fetus, and the whole thing is super, super dark green. And somebody asked if that was meconium, and I said no, but I said, whatever, I'm going to leave it at that, and you tell us what that is and what happened, and what happened with that puppy, what your best guess is as to why that puppy didn't survive.
Yeah. I was just up in Washington last week, working with the Mexican gray wolf project that I work with, and they treated us to lunch, and the deli's name was Maconi's, and I could not get meconium out of my mind eating from that deli. But your person's right. It is meconium, and so what that is that's the first fetal poop. That's the first feces that a neonate pushes out once it's born, is the material that's inside the intestines while they're in utero. And so it's not digested food, because they're not eating like that. They're not eating when they're in utero. All the nutrients are coming through the umbilical cord. So the material that's in the intestines and is first pushed out when they first poop is called meconium. And it's a dark green. It's kind of a sticky consistency, and they're not supposed to push it out until after they're born, and they nurse, and the mama licks them and stimulates them to both pee and poop for the first time. But sometimes it is expressed, it is pushed out when they're still in the uterus inside their placentas, and that happens when they get stressed out. So if you have a puppy born that has green staining, that's called meconium staining, and it's an indication that puppy was stressed out during the delivery process, more than the normal stress of being born, more than the normal stress. So it's funny, because sometimes these puppies are born green, and people don't realize why, and they think it's some kind of cool or weird abnormality. And I've seen it reported on local news stations before. Great Pyrenees puppy, born green, it's like... It was only green for a day or two until it got licked by its mom, and then it was white again. Yeah.
But in this one, I thought, so I'm going to learn something here. I thought that it could be that, but it also could be that it's the byproduct. I can't think of the name of this word. It's the byproduct of blood once that it's been in, because I'm talking the entire...
The uteroverdin.
Yes, that's it.
Yes. Yeah, and that's green too.
Green, everything was green on this puppy.
Yeah, and maybe that contributed to it, but the uteroverdin is what you just described, the green byproduct of the blood and the placenta there on that part of the placenta that attaches to the uterus that surrounds the puppy, that looks like a belt, or like you said, the sushi. But that's outside the fetal membranes. That's outside where the puppy would be. But it's all getting mixed up as they're being born. And so, I suppose that could contribute to it as well. It sounds like from what you described, with the puppy being surrounded by the placenta when it came out, instead of breaking through and the placenta following like it should do, that this is what we call premature placental separation. And that, did that puppy survive?
No. Yeah.
So what happens there is that the placenta, and it probably was I would guess it was secondary to the first problem of the first puppy getting stuck, because that stopped the process in one aspect, but not others. And the others being that placentas were still detaching, like other puppies were still like, it's my turn, I'm coming.
Mhm.
And so they're trying to get out, and placentas can detach, and the way is blocked. So they can survive for a while without oxygen, but there's a limit. And so what probably happened with that puppy is that things were backed up, the placenta detached, it struggled, the meconium was released.
Mm.
Probably you're right. I think that it's certainly likely the uteroviridin got mixed up there too, but in the end, it wasn't able to get out and get oxygen soon enough.
Mm. Okay. Oh, that's
Because usually when puppies are born, they break through the placenta and it's still attached, and their umbilical cord is still attached. And then as they're being born, the umbilical cord breaks or the mom chews it, and so there's a really nice transition between getting oxygen through the placenta and getting oxygen from the air, the environment. And so if a puppy's placenta detaches before they're born, now it's in an emergency situation where it really does need to get out pretty quickly.
Interesting.
so. Explain what you're saying. You're saying normally a puppy breaks through the placenta. I'm not visualizing. I don't understand what that means.
Well, think about how the puppy, like you described it, looks like a sushi roll
Yeah.
when it's inside of its placenta. So that part of the placenta that you're envisioning as the um, as the
Seaweed.
nori, the seaweed
Yeah,
wrap.
I got you.
Yeah, it is the part that's actually attached to the uterine horn, and that's the part where the blood is integrating with the mother's blood, and waste products are being distributed out, and nutrients are taken in, including oxygen. When the puppy, so that's just a belt, but the other ends, the front and the back end of the placenta, is clear.
Mm-hmm.
Those membranes are still surrounding the puppy and protecting it, and containing the fetal fluids like the amniotic fluid and the allantoic fluid, but it's not attached to the uterus. There's no gas exchange, there's no nutrient exchange going through that part of the placenta. In humans, it's a disc.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when humans, our babies are attached, there's a circular disc that's attached to the uterus, and then the rest of it is just clear membranes. And when a human baby is born, they also break through that clear part of the membranes, and the disc part that's attached to the mother's uterus stays until the baby's born. The umbilical cord is still attached. In our case, usually the doctor or the dad or whatever gets to cut it. And then afterwards, the disc detaches and the baby comes out. In the case of puppies, they break through that clear part of the placenta, leaving the disc or leaving the belt part attached to the uterus with the umbilical cord attached. They're pushed out. The mom chews the umbilical cord and detaches it. And the puppy then goes on to be licked and starts breathing its first breaths. And then the placenta, no longer doing a job, is able to detach minutes or whatever afterwards and get pushed out in turn.
It's so fast.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Oh, I didn't. Now, okay, sorry. I told Allie. Allie's a
I'm gonna
doula. Yeah, she's a doula, by the way. And I was like, don't let me go down rabbit holes, but I have to ask this because I'm just curious. But so you're saying they push through, but they're in a sac. So how are they still in a membrane if
They're in two sacs? It's two sacs.
sometimes two sacs?
It's
Yeah.
well, yeah, and then because both are coming out around it,
Yes.
right? So the puppy is inside of the amniotic sac, which is inside of the allantoic sac.
Okay. So this is
So
okay. I'm gonna be like going and watching this and writing it all down because I think it's so interesting to hear.
yeah, so they
understand.
break through the allantoic sac, which is the outside one, and they still have the inside one over their face when they come out, which is the amniotic sac.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
And do you actually know how long a puppy can survive without oxygen?
Well, the way I would judge that is based on C-sections where we are pulling puppies out that might be affected by anesthesia and don't wake up and start taking breaths on their own for a while. And I would say on the upside, 20 minutes has happened many times where we're not getting good breaths for 20 minutes. Even 30 minutes has happened sometimes. If we can't get breaths by 30 minutes, it seems like it's not going to happen. But 15 to 20 minutes it's not common, but it's common enough that we don't give up. And then they often can start breathing after that.
Wow. Okay.
Interesting.
Well, I mean,
I know. I wish we could ask you a million more questions, but we're coming to the end of. I think we're almost to time.
Yeah, we
we
are.
are at time. And did you want to finish your story about Mr. Navy before we end? Because you were almost done.
I want to let Dr. Bruce go then before, if anybody wants to hang around and watch that. But, and I also just want to say that, so you're in the Sacramento area, in addition to offering repro services, you guys, if you're in the area, I'm just telling you, this is where I would go for all veterinary care, but your facility is unbelievable. It is a state-of-the-art facility. And I just tell everybody I can about it because I think it should be a prototype for every repro facility around the country. But I just want to make sure that people know that you're available, right? I mean, you have regular veterinary services and repro services.
Yeah, we're a general practice, and then there are 2 of us that are board certified in reproductive specialties.
Yeah. Well, thank you for hopping on here, especially, you're so funny, you're so casual, you're like, yeah, they're fine, they're here.
Baby.
Like,
that's fine.
But thank you so much for hopping on here and answering those questions.
Yeah, I'm glad I could make it.
Yeah, me too. All right, we'll go on with your Sunday.
All right, thanks everybody. Bye-bye.
Okay, thanks, bye-bye. And then for everybody else, we'll just hang around for a couple more minutes and talk about Mr. Navy, and then call it a day.
Yeah, we'll call it.
We're still recording, right? I mean, I don't know how to tell.
I think it is. Are we? I didn't think we were recording. Are we recording? Somebody asked if we're recording this.
Well, I don't know that I'm posting the recording.
Oh, yes, there it is.
Yes, but as long as we're all still here.
All right, then you can finish with that.
So
you were talking about it being a perfect storm, and it's like everything has to go wrong. And so a lot of things go wrong because you have the pig rail up, and that means it's just this little piece. Why don't you explain what that is if someone doesn't know what that is?
I mean, the whole point of the pig rail is to protect, they are impossibly vulnerable. I know that you can't get a sense of their scale. Like there's been times where I've used a Trader Joe's can so you could see how small they are.
They're very fragile. They're neonates.
They are neonates.
It's like a baby kangaroo. You know, they're born, but they stay inside the mommy's pouch for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's not quite that much, but they are not like outside ready for the world.
No, they're not. And so the pig rail prevents them from being squished because if mom is laying in the box and she kind of, they like to push up against the back of something and she pushes up against it, she will squish a puppy.
Yeah, it'll stop her back, but let the puppy have a place to go.
So anytime a puppy gets behind mom, they get under that pig rail and they're protected from mom's back end.
Yeah.
And that, I've never not had that work. I think based on what I saw when I looked in the whelping box, he had been in the corner. He must have smelled her. And he turned around. And I think he probably came up on her back end. Like there's the corner, right? And I think he poked his little body up and I think she moved. I think she moved when he poked his little body up.
Yeah.
And that's the sound that I heard. Like you can hear crying right now. That's very normal crying. I've never heard this sound. I never want to hear that sound again. I knew it was very serious. I moved him. I could tell right away it was him. I moved him in front of her. And I think his chest got compressed, right? He got squished. And it was immediate. He didn't suffer. It was immediate. And Dolly, he was right there at her front legs because I moved him. And she was kind of like licking him. And I was like, I just sitting there staring like, I think this puppy's gone. And so I called Brian and I'm like, I think that we just lost Mr. Navy. And he's like, what? And I was like, I had no tears. I was just like robot. I'm like, I need to go. I need to check on him and figure out what's going on. And he's like, do you need me to come home? No, don't come home. I'm fine. And so, I'm fine. And so then I sat there and I just fell apart. And meanwhile, Dolly, somebody else had started to cry. And so she was licking them and she just wasn't aware of him at all. I mean, she was completely okay with the fact that he was just right there. And I really checked him over to see. I could tell physically that he had been squished.
Yeah.
And that he wasn't alive. I mean, it was immediately obvious to me. I'll just say it like that. And so I removed him from the box, and then I called Brian. I'm like, oh, I just,
actually lies. I'm not fine.
I'm not fine. And just fell apart. So I know that a lot of people ask me on Instagram how I'm doing, and I took a day. I talked to you guys immediately. I mean, poor Christy and Allie got on Marco Polo. Okay. Yeah. It's, they immediately heard about it. And I talked to them a lot, so that was very helpful to me. And I love this book. This book for me.
Same. I have it too.
I mean, I was going to read you guys a poem from it, but we don't really have time. And I'll link it if you guys want me to, or if you can email me, whatever. I mean, Mary Oliver, this book, Devotions, is just unbelievable. And then the other thing is, I had pre-ordered this book a long time ago, and I had no idea that I was going to need it. And I don't know any of these authors. It's edited by Alice Hoffman. It's a lot of really stellar authors writing love stories about their dogs. And that has been a salve for me. In all of this. I didn't expect it. It came, I want to say it came the day that the puppies were born. And, and you know what else came is I made myself a little bookmark. Just of like my recent favorite pictures or whatever. And so I got that too. And so I've been reading, that helps me a lot to read.
To process.
To process, to talk to you guys. I definitely gave myself permission to not reply to texts and emails, which is hard for me, but I needed time. And this wasn't even enough time, but we're public here. So
yeah. So that's that.
I don't want to end on that note. I want to say the other thing I would say that's healing, like this morning even, I was doing ENS with them, and this is the time where they start to just absolutely pass out. Like you pick them up and you do the whole ENS protocols and everything, and they're like, they are completely noodles. And so I've just done a lot of holding on the back, scratching the chest, and they're just like,
they're just noodle, and they're so fat.
They are so deliciously fat.
I mean, I'm not like in there or anything like that. It's not time yet.
Yes.
I'm waiting until it's time.
Yeah.
But like I peeked over the edge, I'm like, oh my God, they're so
yeah. I know Dolly had to go potty. I'm like, Allie, run over here. She's going potty. Run over here and look at them. And they're just delicious. And that is very, very healing.
That's good.
Just to think about where they're going, the families they're going to, what they're going to do in this world. That's why I do what I do.
Yep.
So yeah.
All right.
Okay. I think that's it. We're way over. Sorry
but
about that.
It has been so good to see you. If we didn't get to your question, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We were just trying to be respectful of all the time of everybody. But yes.
We'll be back.
We'll see you soon.
I'll post the next date. Allie and I have to figure it out and we'll get it posted.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.
Figure out how to end it. End webinar for all.